Okay. Good afternoon. I'd like to call the regular Board of Selectmen meeting for April 15th to order. At the table is Selectwoman Jude Reed, Selectman Jim Lampos, and myself, Martha Shoemaker, for Selectwoman. We are all here, and there are members of the press from the Connecticut, Kate Hewitt from the CT Examiner, Elizabeth Reagan from the New London Day, and we have some guests in the audience as well. As far as information items, communications, and correspondences, I don't have any at the moment. Do either of you?
I do not.
I do. I have two communications from two Ferry Road residents. Rick Drake has been emailing me emphasizing the need for a traffic study. This is in follow-up to our speeding meeting. Expressing the ad hoc committees and anecdotal evidence may not lead to the best use of our resources, so we may want to consider a comprehensive traffic study for the town. Fred Gaston, also of Ferry Road, is expressing concern about speeding on Ferry Road and would like the sign that's on Sill to be also used on Ferry along with enforcement. And talked about the need for perhaps a permanent radar sign at that transition of 156 and Ferry Road, and a local traffic only sign to reduce trucks making shortcuts through there. I don't know the ramifications of that, but that was the nature of his communication for our discussion.
Okay. I think that I did put on for our agenda for the next meeting that we should be working on our safety committee and putting that together. We'll put together a draft charge to go out before that meeting. Okay, so if there's anyone who wishes to offer public comment on this particular meeting, the stage is open. I don't see anyone online, so is there anyone in the audience who wishes to do public comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to our approval of minutes for April 1st, 2024. Do either of you see any changes that we should make?
I did not.
I do not.
I did not as well.
I'll
So
make a motion to move the minutes from April 1, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
okay, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. Okay. We were informed by Park and Rec today that they do not have their presentation ready because they've not gotten their quotes on the goose mitigation issue. So they would like to probably call a special meeting between the Rogers Lake Authority, the Board of Selectmen, and the Park and Rec Commission at a later date, as soon as those quotes come into play. So I said that would be fine. All right, new business, appointments to boards and committees. We have Zoning Commission. We received a letter of resignation by Tammy Tanarello on April 4th. She resigned from the Old Lyme Zoning Commission. Mr. Orzell is recommending, and I am reading from his letter, that the Board of Selectmen appoint Denise Savageau to replace Tammy as a full-time member and complete her term that ends in November. At that time, Denise will begin her term on the commission, being elected in November of 2023. And this will create a vacant alternate seat that we will address moving forward.
You need it louder.
Whoever's on the line, would you please mute your phone? Thank you. I'm sorry, but whoever is 203-912-5318, would you please mute your phone?
Mute it. How do I mute? I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Thank you. All right. So
I'll make a motion to move Denise Savageau from alternate member of zoning to full voting member to replace Tammy Tanarello.
I'll second the motion.
okay, any further discussion?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now there will be a vacancy
Where-
on that.
An
Is,
alternate.
right, an alternate. Is it party related? How is that filled?
It isn't, there is no, it can go to anyone
Okay.
because it's not, we have enough of. there's no-
Everyone, there's a balance enough
There's a-
already.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, and, so what I was planning on doing is putting it in the newsletter for this
Okay.
particular week.
sounds good.
And letting them know.
Yeah, no, I was shocked. that
Sheila, you need to mute.
It was, let me make sure I'm muted here. I just,
Mhm.
All right,
Okay, great.
um,
Thank you. You'll announce it.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. I just want you to know, I did go back and check in the files, and we only had 3 people apply for alternate
Mhm.
positions in the fall. And it was Gil, Sloan, and Michael.
Okay.
And so they were appointed, then Gil dropped out,
Gil
and then
missed.
they went back
Okay.
and stuff.
Maybe we'll
I
get
did
new
check to
applicants.
see, so hopefully we'll have some new applicants. Okay, Harbor Management Commission. We received word through Terry Lewis that Chris Dobb has resigned his position on harbor management due to his commitments to some other things for business. And she has asked that Rich Shriver, who had applied earlier in the year, but they didn't have a position for him, and she asked that that be brought, that Rich's name come up on the list. So I need a motion to appoint Rich Shriver to harbor management.
I'll make the motion to appoint Mr. Shriver to Harbor Management.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
He's terrific. Loves the river and no one knows more about it, so I think this is
I
great.
agree. He's very well qualified and he's been attending meetings for a while.
Okay. All right. Anyone? All right, so we've made a motion, sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, motion passes. All right, Open Space Commission. We have a request from a permanent member of the Open Space Commission to be brought to go to an alternate status. And we have a request from Greg Fatoma to bring one of the alternates up to an active permanent position. So Greg would like, Michael Aurelia is asking to go down to a alternate position, and Christine McGregor has agreed to fulfill that slot with Greg. I don't have the exact dates, but it's whatever the term is. She will fulfill Michael's term, and then he would fulfill her term as an alternate. So that is the way it was, and I'm sorry I didn't put the dates in, but I will put those into the minutes with both of your permission, and I'll have Katie check them from on board. Any questions on that?
No.
Could I have a motion, please, let's do it as this way. Let's first move Michael to, well, wait a minute, how are we
Yeah,
gonna do
you've
this?
got to
We have to accept Michael's request
resign.
to resign from his permanent position first.
I'll make a motion to accept Michael Aurelia's resignation letter from full voting member on the Open Space Commission.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, now we have a full-blown vacancy at the permanent position, and we can request that Christine McGregor, who currently is an alternate, be moved up to a permanent member to fulfill Mr. Aurelia's term.
I'll make a motion that Christine McGregor be moved from alternate to full position on the Open Space Committee.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, let's call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Now, we have an alternate position that is left open by Christine's, and Michael Aurelia has asked to step down to an alternate position. So can I have a motion to move Michael into that alternate position.
I'll make a motion that Mike Aurelia be moved to the alternate position on open space.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. All right. That is the end of our committee appointments. And now we are moving on to our number 8, which is the introduction of a memorandum of understanding between the town of Old Lyme and George Frampton and Carla DeRista concerning Tantamahake Landing. Jim, I believe that you have something you would like to say.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce the memorandum and try and explain a little bit of the logic behind it. This has been a very controversial issue. And I've been working with Mr. Frampton to come to some sort of understanding and find a way forward. And I would like to just explain the logic, and we will be debating this in a public forum, and we'll be voting on this. So today, there will be no decisions made on this whatsoever. We're just introducing it. The dispute concerning public access to and ownership of Tantamahake Landing between George Frampton and Carla DeRista in the town of Old Lyme is now in its 4th year. The controversy has become increasingly contentious, stretching over 2 terms of the previous Board of Selectmen. It was presented to this board as a top priority when we first took office 4 months ago. I'm happy to announce today that we've reached an agreement with the Framptons to ensure public access. We understood that this controversy has had a chilling effect on the public access of Tantamahake Landing. Seeking to avoid conflict or being unsure about its status, neighbors and other town residents have refrained from visiting. With this agreement, we restore public confidence and comfort in enjoying the landing for pedestrians who seek to view the river and cove, enjoy the natural landscape of Tantamahake Brook, or view the annual swallow migration on Goose Island just offshore. The agreement restores public access to the landing from 8 a.m. to sundown with essentially the same conditions the public was accustomed to before the controversy began. The notable exception is that there will be no vehicular access to the landing. The potential parking space or 2 that had been identified to be created in previous plans or used in an ad hoc basis previously has been moved 300 feet east to the paved turnaround just outside the property gates. Vehicular access never formally marked or established at the landing has proved troublesome in the past with vehicles needing to use the grounds of the private residence as a turnaround. There's no room for cars to pass each other, necessitating vehicles to back up the drive, and the narrow 1-lane road presents a potential danger if one or more cars have to share the unpaved surface with pedestrians. The area that's been identified as potential parking area is also unimproved with a steep drop into the brook at its edge. Improvements necessary to make this an official parking area would require significant site work, environmental impacts, and permitting. Thus, making this path to the river a pedestrian-only zone makes practical sense as a matter of safety and enhancing the quiet enjoyment of those seeking to access the landing. Parking will now be approximately 150 additional steps away. It'll be on a paved, safe surface for ease of access. While Tantamahake Landing has never been a desirable kayak put in with several yards of muck and mire between the landing and the open waters of the river, kayakers will still be free to wheel their kayaks down to the river on a non-motorized cart. Backing a car to the river for kayak or boat access was always impractical, necessitating significant portage, even in the best conditions. Preventing vehicular access will add another 175 or so steps to the kayak portage. The loading and unloading of the kayak from the vehicle will be in a safer location. A Connecticut Examiner article from January 13th, 2021 quotes a member of the Harbor Commission saying the kayak committee did not rate the landing as a high usability site. Another member of the commission is quoted as being seriously concerned about pedestrian safety of vehicles backing up the driveway. Now, it's important to note this agreement's for 1 year only, and it explicitly stated that neither side gives up any stated or implied rights. The agreement reaches a common sense accord on immediately restoring traditional public access, seeks to deconflict the situation that's growing increasingly contentious, resulting in confusion and a chaotic situation for the public, and division within the town as expressed in numerous press articles. The Framptons further agree that the current level of landscaping will be maintained. No further plantings from the March 31st, 2024 baseline as documented in photographs will impede access. Finally, some have argued that this agreement will present a slippery slope whereby comparable town assets will be called into question. This is not the case, as all other comparable assets already have well-established access points, signage, and parking. Tamnahick never had a formally established parking area. Further, the dispute in this case is grounded in specific citations of town records and associated deeds as denoted in the opening statement of the agreement. And a protocol is established by which the two sides will examine the issue regarding ownership in a mutually agreed upon mediation. Primary purpose of this agreement is to guarantee public access, reduce conflict and acrimony, and create an atmosphere where a reasoned assessment and potential permanent solution can take place. Both sides, all options remain available to them, and all rights are retained and reserved. Thank you.
Okay, so Jim, thank you for all the time that you have spent on this, because I know you gave up your days off to, as well as taking time out of work to work on it as well. Thank you. Anyway, we are going to plan, a press release has already gone out to the New London Day with the attached MOU draft to the New London Day, the Connecticut Examiner, and Limeline. And we are going to send that out. We're going to let the public sit on it for a couple of weeks so that they can think about it. And then we're going to call a meeting, a special board of selectmen meeting, where we will discuss it in full and listen to public comment, et cetera. And then we can move forward and discuss it further. But we will not discuss it today. So we have nothing else on our agenda except 2 more meetings across the street. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Jim? Jude, thank you. All right, and all those in favor of adjourning at, what time is it? 5? Let's see, 5 something. It's not on here. I'll figure it out.
42, something like that.
5:47? Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll see you across the street. Please turn off your mics. And I will turn off Teams. Let me just.
Jim? And I'm going to mention it to Martha.